Episode 42. As everybody was saying their goodbyes and traveling to their prospective locations, it was hard to say goodbye to the good memories they were leaving behind. But the photography was so beautiful that the memories would be lived on through the pictures that they savored so preciously. Grace said her goodbyes to her mom. Mom, yes, said her mom. Thank you for making this so special. As Lauren and Monica and the girls all embraced with a group hug, it was so good having you all with me. You better get ready for your honeymoon. I think you have a husband waiting for you. Michael was waving in the background, and as her brothers gathered around and had a group hug as well, I'm so happy for you, Grace. You picked a fine man. And as they shook Michael's hand, they all went to their prospective gates and got ready to board their flights. Listen, before we go, we just want to tell you we love you and we can't wait to hear all the good stories about your honeymoon and what you find out about each other and what you learn about just married life. Let us know and share some of your photographs of your honeymoon. Michael said, You have no worries. We have so much already to share. Wait till you see the photography pictures from the wedding. I can't wait to see it. We're not posting it on Facebook or Instagram either. How are we going to see them? I'm not quite sure. We might have like a profile picture or website. I'll make sure you see the pictures though. Don't you worry. But we're not posting them online. Maybe I'll set up a family website so we can all share pictures. That would be great. Mike exclaimed, Why don't we post it on Flickr? That's a good website. Maybe we'll do that, said Michael. That's a great idea. They all nodded and agreed and gave each other hugs and handshakes as they continued to get to their gates and grabbed onto their luggage. Thank you again for the beautiful, wonderful experiences. We won't forget this. As their luggage was packed full of all the items they purchased at the outlet stores, the girls said thank you and gave a big hug to their Aunt Grace and Uncle Michael. Thank you so much for taking us to the outlets. We can't tell you enough. Thank you. They left and they boarded to their gates. Grace teared up. It's so hard to say goodbye, Michael. It's so hard to see him leave. I miss him so much already. Michael said, I know. I can imagine. My parents are still back at the hotel. We better get back to the hotel. As Grace is gripping on to his hand. Michael, I love them so much. I know you do. They'll miss you too. And as she sees her sister wave goodbye, it's a bittersweet moment. So as Michael and Grace turn their way back to the hotel, Michael and Grace continue to talk about the beautiful moments of the experiences from the church wedding to the exciting news of Johnny and Vanessa's engagement. They can't help but be overcome with so many emotions and experiences. It's really a wedding to remember, Grace, said Michael. Wait till the staff at work hear about all the stuff that happened. I'll have to have a staff meeting just to explain everything that happened. I think the photos will speak for itself, said Grace. You're right, Grace. Besides, I'm not going to tell them anything about what happened on my wedding night. Besides, and they won't, I don't think I have words for what happened last night. Maybe it was the moonlight night dance. I don't know. Whatever was in the water. I hope to God I can explain that to my children and someday they'll be able to understand whatever was in the water that night. She was a wild, sexy mama. Yeah, there was something definitely in the water last night. Something happened. You became my wife that last night in more ways than one. That's for sure, said Grace. I was definitely yours. We definitely became one last night. We need to talk more about that another time. We're approaching the hotel. My mom and dad don't need to know any more than they need to know. Believe me. I'm sure they heard all about it. They had a couple children, so they know a little bit about what you're talking about. Yeah, my mom and dad, they've been around. They know. Maybe we can get some pointers. No, not really. We'll get some pointers. Maybe we'll go talk to somebody about it, but definitely not my parents. That kind of conversation's just a conversation I'd rather have with the guys. On that topic, have you ever heard of vasopressin bonding? No, you were going there one time, but you didn't really explain it to me. We're going to have a talk about it on our honeymoon. We're going to play a game called Jenga. Do you know what the game Jenga is? Oh, yeah, I know the game Jenga. Okay, we're going to do something called vasopressin bonding. You're going to like it. You're going to love it, in fact. It's going to change the whole scheme of things, said Grace to Michael. Oh, really? Well, there's Mom right now. She must be going for a walk. I wonder where Dad is at. He's probably in there reading the newspaper. Let's go up and see what Mom's up to. Hey, Mom, as Michael pulls up to the curb. Where's Dad? Reading the newspaper. What do you think? Oh, is he in the lobby? Yeah. Okay, let me park my car and we'll pull in and we'll hang out with Mom and you and Dad. I was just going out for a walk because the weather seems so nice. It's actually kind of strange for this time of year. Yeah, oftentimes we get a warm burst of warm air, and I can't quite explain it. Once in a while, we'll get lucky. For February, yeah, for February, this is kind of odd to have 55 degrees, almost 60-degree weather. Hey, we'll take the nice weather, Mom. Okay, let me go ahead and park and I'll be right back, Mom. So Michael and Grace go and park their car as they have to pack their car for their honeymoon. They want to keep the car nearby the parking spot. So Michael and Grace make their way into the lobby as Dad is reading the newspaper. So, Dad, what are you reading? The war in Iraq between the Houthi rebels and Yemen and all this stuff going on in Israel. It's pretty hard to follow, to be quite honest. The one thing is, it's sad what's going on in Gaza. Yeah, you can keep me up to speed on it another time, Dad, because I got to get ready for the honeymoon. We're leaving here in a short while. Yeah, we're ready to get to the airport as we speak because we're taking an early flight to Florida. Oh, you are, Dad? Yeah, we decided to go ahead and board our flight early. It's a lot warmer in Florida. Even though it's almost 60 degrees here, we want to get back home to the condo. Okay, well, that makes sense. We know that you want to get into your honeymoon mode, more or less. How you doing, Grace? Said Dad. I'm doing great. Did you get enough rest? Not really. How? Oh, I know. It was a long night. Not really, but yeah, sorta. How did it go for you, my wonderful son? It went great, Dad. My wife is what we call very sexy, Dad. I'm not surprised. I have a story to tell you, but maybe not right now. Maybe another time. Okay, Dad. we'll leave it at that. So anyway, did you have breakfast, Dad? Mm, we're actually not really that hungry. We had a big breakfast early this morning at 6 a.m. Oh, okay. So you got up early? Yeah, we went walking. We wanted to walk around the pond area. So we had a big breakfast when they were serving from 6 to 9. So, but we might be hungry a little bit later before we leave for the airport. So we're probably going to catch a small lunch before we head to the airport. What time is your flight leave? Well, I think the flight is boarding at 3:30. We have to be there at the airport at 2:30 or 2 o'clock. So I don't know if, son, are you willing to drive us over to the airport? Yeah, sure. In fact, we can get ready and get our bags packed and get them over into the car now and pack your bags as well. How much stuff do you have? Well, we can get the stuff over to my house and then come back and get your bags packed into the trunk if you give me a few minutes. I just have to get some of Grace's stuff out of the bridal suite because there is a lot of stuff there. Or we could wait and just get your stuff over to the airport first and then come back for our stuff later. Well, wouldn't you have to rent the room out for an extra night if you did that? Yeah, probably. Why don't you go get your stuff out of the room now, check out, and then we'll get our stuff and we'll pack the car. Okay, sounds good, Dad. So I'll be back here to get you here in a short while. And Grace will just hang out with both you and Mom. Is that okay, Grace? Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, Grace, I'm going to go get your things out of the bridal suite and I'm going to go get my things and I'm going to take it over to the house. Sounds good, honey. I love you. I love you too, Grace. I love you, Dad. And I love you too, Mom. Son, we love you too. So Michael makes his way back to his house, takes all the belongings that were in the hotel rooms and drops it off. He comes back and then packs the cars. Listen, son, we really appreciate you taking the time to take us to the airport. We know it's a lot of work, but it's not a problem, Dad, because we really have to unpack the house and pack for the honeymoon. So we're not in any hurry. So what do you plan on taking to the honeymoon trip, son? Probably packing a light load because we've been like on the go for the last couple of days. I mean, living in a hotel is not the life of luxury. So we're going to pack a light suitcase and just kind of enjoy our trip. Plus, I have all those new clothes that I got from the party, so I already have what I want to wear. So we're going to go back to the house after we drop you off at the airport. Okay, well, we're ready to go to the airport, so you could just drop us off at the departure area and we'll see ourselves out the door. Okay, so that's what we'll do. Okay, son, let's go. So as they get to the departure area at the airport, they say their goodbyes and they hug and kiss. As Grace hugs and kisses Mom and Dad, and so does Michael, they say a wonderful send off to their parents and in laws. And that's the end of that part of the story. As Grace looks to Michael, Michael, this really turned out to be a really wonderful experience. I really enjoyed talking to your parents, my in laws, because they really embraced me. You know, my brothers and sisters really like you too, Grace, too. I'm so happy. This turned out to be such a great event. I mean, my family and your family really hit it off. I'm so happy it turned out as well as it did. Everybody seemed to have a good time. That's what was most important. That's true. It was really great. We had a great wedding planner, great everything. And I really am so impressed with Ben and everybody that came from work. They all really liven things up. You could really tell the difference of who has a personality and who doesn't. Yeah, everybody's personalities came out, that's for sure. It's nice to see that side of other people, especially at a wedding. Well, we better get back to the house and pack because our honeymoon begins now. Yeah, really. Our honeymoon just about to begin. So I don't know what you're planning on bringing to the honeymoon, but Grace, don't worry about bringing a lot because we're only going to be there for 3 days. And besides, we're probably going to be spending most of it in bed. So bring some jogging pants, bring some jogging shoes because we're going to do some hiking. Bring some t shirts. Remember, lounge clothes. Bring a couple dress clothes if you choose to. We probably will go out to dinner. If we have to buy anything, we'll buy some things. You know, it's we're just going to take it casual. I don't want to make a big fuss over clothes, is what I'm saying. Just bring what you need and we'll buy the rest on the way. I like that idea a lot because, to be honest with you, I'm not up to packing. And wow, that must be someone's sports car that just passed by. Yeah, it sounds as nice as your car. That's what your car sounds like when you go by. Yeah, it does sound like that. So, anyway, back to what I was saying. Listen, to be quite honest, we can always stop at a shop or someplace and buy you something exquisite or nice if we decide to go out somewhere fancy. I don't have any problem with that. I'm sure that's what I love about you is that you're really so helpful with that kind of stuff. So, Grace, I don't have any problems with spending extra money, especially if it makes our life a little easier. $100 dress is not a big deal when you're going out to a fancy restaurant. It's just we don't get to go to fancy restaurants. We go to Firehouse Pizza Pub more than we do go out to a fancy restaurant. You know what I'm feeling up to going to though? Maybe we should go to the Waterfall Hotel restaurant tonight before we leave. Since we dropped mom and dad off at the airport, maybe we should go out to dinner. Why don't we just go to the honeymoon suite at the bed and breakfast and see what they have down there first and then just go from there? Okay, let's head down. Let's pack our bags and let's go. Okay, sounds good, Grace. So as Grace packs her bags and they head down to the honeymoon suite at the bed and breakfast, along the way they find this really cute nook where they serve this really nice entree and meal at the bed and breakfast. At the bed and breakfast, they actually serve dinner there, and they get a nice, healthy portion of lasagna. I wasn't really in the mood for lasagna, but this is about as best as it gets. Lasagna, homemade, really? I mean, come on. Here at the bed and breakfast, you have free use of the kitchen. Are you sure we're not at a Verbo? Hey, I don't know. This is actually better. Mmm. Are you sure we're not in Arkansas? Grace, we are in Arkansas. You're drinking Arkansas water. That's what the B&B is. It's an old Victorian B&B in Arkansas. Mmm. This is so good. Delicious. This is our first night on our honeymoon. I'm really liking this. Finally, we made it. Oh, how beautiful the Victorian artwork here is. I told you you would like it, Grace. Look at the Victorian chairs and the Victorian kitchen table. Wow. This is exquisite. Oh my gosh. Would you like a glass of wine, Grace? Yes, I would love a glass of wine. Not too dry, please. Well, they have a wine selection. Did you want Merlot or do you want Cabernet? Merlot, please. I would love that. Seems we're getting a text message. Don't worry, they know I'm off work. I'm not taking any messages all week. I told them I'm off all week. Oh, you are? Yeah. I decided that I would take 3 days off plus the rest of the week off so I can help you at the cottage. The moving truck is going to be over there? Yeah. We're either going to put it in storage in my garage or, yeah, I think that's where we're going to leave your stuff is in the garage. Okay, that sounds perfect. So I can pull the stuff out as needed. Yeah, I think that's the easy way to go, Grace. That's the last order of business. We're not talking business anymore because I'm exhausted. I want to rest. I want to just kiss and just do everything a husband and wife need to do. How do you like the lasagna? Oh, it's delicious, especially with a glass of Merlot. It's paired just perfectly. That's exactly what I was thinking. Oh, this is so delicious. Perfect with a glass of Merlot. You know how to do things just right, Michael, said Grace. If your mom and dad knew the first class service they just received, no, they do know. They are first class. They taught me how to do things right. Honey, I used to be a 5-star restaurant server. This is first class all around. You overtipped the waitresses. You even took care of the janitor. I mean, come on, baby. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. You know what word on the street gets around? That you're the first class service. That gets around. That's good for business. Yes, it is. I get a lot of repeat customers because I got a reputation for treating people right. And because of that reason, a lot of my customers come to me because they know I treat people right. And if you treat people right, it comes back around. They may call it karma. I just call it treating people right. It's just that simple, Grace. If you treat people right, they treat you right in return. It's I don't know how else to say it. Karma might be the word for it, but I just say keep it simple. Don't complicate anything. Just treat people the way you want to be treated. If I didn't overtip those servers, do you think it would come back to haunt me? Yeah, it would, because I actually have a business to run. And those one of these days, those people are going to come back and say, I remember you. You were the guy that overtipped me. I want to take care of you too. You never know who you might meet along the way. Grace sits there and stares in astonishment and says, that's exactly how it is. People don't forget, especially in the service industry. That's one of the things about going to a full service salon. If you overtip the full service salon people in the salon studio, they remember you by name. You get a reputation for being a good tipper. People remember. How do you like that water, Grace? I love the water. You know that by now, Michael, said Grace. I could drink a whole bottle of it right now. Grace, if you keep drinking that water, we're going to end up pregnant. I'm just saying. I'm warning you. We may end up pregnant by tonight if we keep going the way we're going. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? That's a good thing. I'm just warning you. If you keep wearing those outfits that you wear to bed, I don't know if you went to Victoria's Secret or not. But Vicky's secret is out now. I know what you look like now. And I don't know. I can't blame it on the water anymore. Michael, I'm not shy with you anymore. You see what you see. And you can't, you have x-ray eyes now. You know what I look like. What can I say, Grace? You're beautiful. You're not only beautiful inside, but you're beautiful outside. You are you have curves and I'm just going to say it like it is. I just am so fortunate that I have a woman that has the body that she has at this place in her life. I realize as you get older, things start to get stretched out of place, especially if you have a baby, but you're in the best shape of your life right now. If you keep drinking water and drink that collagen drink mix, and you still take your vitamins and walk and exercise, there's no question in my mind, if you take care of yourself and you keep doing what you're doing, you'll be in the best shape of your life and you'll be ready to have a baby. And you keep drinking that water from Arkansas, you'll be pregnant by the end of this year. You may be pregnant sooner than that. I don't know. I'm predicting you're going to end up pregnant, though, pretty soon here. Well, what's the point of being on the adoption list if I end up pregnant? Why don't we just get pregnant first and wait on the adoption? Because I'm not sure. Because we can be both pregnant and adopt at the same time. Don't you think that's a lot to ask for right now? To do both? No, we can handle it. If we end up pregnant and adopting, our house just gets bigger. That's all. Grace, we can do this. This is not a big deal. Besides, you're going to have a bundle of joy plus two. I think in reality, Grace, you're so beautiful and you're so talented. You would make not only just a beautiful mother, but you would make a great example for your kids. Imagine the things that you could teach them at home. You could homeschool them, or you could send them to a Christian private school and they would get the instructions that they deserve and need. I mean, you could do so much. You could get creative. You could do anything you want as a mom. I'm just saying from personal experience, Michael said to Grace. You know, you got a lot of valid points. But in truth, this lasagna isn't really sitting right with me right now. I could be pregnant right now after last night. Could you tell me about that for a moment? Well, if I'm pregnant right now after last night, I don't know if I could tell right away. But morning sickness is one of those things. I don't know if you can tell right away, but we have to watch. If I get sick right away, I bet you any money we're going to have to keep a pregnancy test nearby. Well, Grace, I'm going to buy a couple pregnancy tests just to keep it on the safe side. We'll monitor you. Well, I'm ovulating now, and I could get pregnant right now. You can? Yeah. Well, Grace, if you get pregnant on your honeymoon, that would be such a special moment. I have to admit, that's a story in itself. And I would look, I'm sorry. I would be overjoyed. Go ahead, say it. Are you sure you don't want to finish this lasagna? It's not that I don't want to finish the lasagna. I like the lasagna, but I'm not feeling that good. Drink some of this Arkansas water again. We're going to get you pregnant. I'm going to talk to the doctor, and you're going to have an OB appointment if you still feel ill. Okay, I'm going to drink the Arkansas water if you insist, said Grace. I insist. Listen, you can't know that early, can you? Said Michael. I don't know if it's true or not, but if I am pregnant, you'll know when I have morning sickness. All right, well, listen, we still have to work on getting pregnant. We have all this honeymoon to work on it and then some. And until then, let's go to bed early. We're here at the honeymoon suite at the bed and breakfast. You're not going to finish your lasagna. We'll put it in the refrigerator. We're going to call it an early night. Let's work on getting pregnant. Let's work on getting pregnant, said Grace. As Grace and Michael make their way to the bedroom, they're going to work on making babies together tonight. And before they go to bed, they say to each other, listen, we don't have an obstetrician, but we're going to make it a point to get an obstetrician, and we're going to talk to the doctor about getting pregnant. Okay, is that a deal, Grace? Grace agrees and says, Michael, you insist on working on this, I will agree to this. This is both our decision to get pregnant. I will agree to that. I insist on getting a doctor, and let's work on getting pregnant tonight and work on it until we get pregnant. And this is the end of the episode.